Okay, I'm just going to show you how to create a template that will make it a lot easier to design cartoon portraits. So obviously we're in Inkscape, and the first thing we want to do is make the page we're working on the right size. So I'm going to click this button here, which lets me edit the properties of the page, and I'm going to make the default units inches, and I'm going to make the size of it A3 is the closest of these options to what we want. Obviously again I want to work in inches, and because we're probably going to have more of an issue with the width than the height when it comes to printing, I'm just going to make it a straight 11 inches because that's all we really need. And then we're going to fit the page to selection, and that's made the page the size we want it, so we can now close this box. And now starting at the bottom of the page, we're going to draw some boundary lines. So I want this freehand line tool, and somewhere near the bottom I'm just going to click and release. Now I'm holding down the control key so that it'll draw an actual straight line rather than my best guess at one. So I'm going to click and release again there, and now I'm just going to get the pick tool, which will let me alter numerical values. So again, working in inches, I want this X value to be 0.175, and I want the Y value to be 1.25, and the width of the line I want to be 10.65. So that'll make it so that it can print without any problems. So I'll just hit the enter key and that should be taken care of for us. And indeed it is. So let's scroll up the page and do the top bounding line in pretty much the same way. Just click and release, hold down the control button to get a properly straight line, click and release again, get the pick tool and alter these figures to what we want them to be. Which is 0.175. We want this Y figure to be 14 inches higher than the bottom, so that's going to be 15.25. And we want it to be the same width as the last one, 10.65. So hit enter, and that should be taken care of for us. Fantastic. So do the side lines, get the freehand tool again, and just click and release somewhere. Hold the control key down and click and release again. Get the pick tool and we'll alter these figures to make the line exactly what we want it to be. And in this case we want this to be 0.625 in, and we want the Y figure to be the same as all the others because we want it to be starting at the bottom line. So that's going to be 1.25 again. We want the height of it rather to be 14 inches. And by hitting enter that should happen perfectly, and that's good. So we'll draw the fourth line over this right hand side, click and release, hold down the control button, click and release anywhere, and now we can make the figures what we want them to be. So we want this X figure to be 10 0.375. We want the Y figure the same as all the others. I'm going to ignore the width figure this time, and I want the height to be 14 inches. So hitting enter should make that happen. Absolutely perfect. And now the last line we want to draw is a little guideline for us to stand a person's body on. So I'm just getting the same tool, and I'm going to click and release somewhere, hold down the control key and click and release somewhere else. The X figure of this really doesn't matter that much, and we want to make sure actually it would do as it is, but we'll make the Y figure 3.5. But it is just a guideline, and that's all it is. So let's zoom out and take a look at that, and then there it is. Looks pretty simple, but these are lines to not draw anything outside. Top of the picture, bottom of the picture, line to put your gentleman or lady standing on, and that will help quite a lot when it comes to designing your cartoon.